Folks, the rather large Scrappy Scavengers update is out now in beta, and by golly is it exactly that. A scavenge together quality of life / content release filled to the brim with tweaks that are bound to make my comment section scrappy. So let's discuss. And we begin with one of the more aggressive changes to our worlds, the retrofitted junkyard set piece, seemingly found in the forest that doesn't have the moonstone more often than not. It's honestly quite easy to miss due to its small size, but you will know it when it's time to stumble upon it. Complete with junky fences to mark its boundaries, the place is littered with junk itself that can be rummaged through for all sorts of loot. I have seen many basic resources, many low-end mobs have jumped out at me, potatoes have dropped, gears, and of course scrap, which should be the main takeaway, as scrap is super important now. As yes, this is actually meant to be a pretty early game encounter, minus the whole auto-mechanic needed to repair the junkyard's wobot. Unfortunately, the bot is broken for yours truly right now, but how it's supposed to work is that any loot that is put in the chest will tell the bot within its radius to clean up said loot around and then put said loot into the container. But now's the time to talk Don't Starve Together's quote-unquote newest big bad himself, the Scrappy Werepig. In need of being dug out, the guy is identical to his nightmare variant in stats, but the same cannot be said for his fights. For the most part, that is. The guy has some damage reduction built in, so be aware of that, but beyond that, the guy is rather simple and repetitive, just like his nightmare variant. He will chase us down all the same, only this time he can scavenge weapons from his junk pile each time one breaks on him, and we can force these weapons to break ourselves if we let him run into stuff. So really all we're doing is running around the giant pile of stuff to break his stuff in order to do our stuff, if you know what I mean. But do note that comes 6,000 health and below, he earns the ability to multi-wield, and this is where things get a little harder to predict. Still, the fight remains largely similar, and I highly recommend getting 4 hits in between his attacks for extra damage outside of his scavenging. But no. Where things truly get scary is when you've killed the Celestial Champion and the guy gets a frickin' laser cannon on his arm that can deal upwards of 180 damage to us depending on how far we are from his super fast blast that has a crazy recharge. It's pretty neat, but before we talk some lackluster loot, here are a few more notes. If we do run outside the junkyard after we've aggroed this guy, he will throw junk at us for a short while. His own pile of junk drops loot every 2 minutes and can do so forever, which is probably what Clay intends for us to use moving forward. And lastly, we have got new scrap walls to play with, if you do so choose to do so. But yes, why choose to actually fight this version over the other, you ask? Well, I'm actually not too sure yet, as all we get out of it is scrap, of course, but also the Horizon Expandinator here that literally just increases our POV. And yup, I'm not joking, everyone. That's it. So have fun. But speaking of expansion, however, as we get into the quality of life side of this update, a new blueprint has a chance to drop from Wagstaff's own junk set piece, and it's what everyone dreaded. The chest expanding Elastispacer, and its very expensive craft. So yes, it is 110% a Mega Baser's item alone, and these big chests y'all wanted are well into the future of any of your worlds. But hey, anything for quote-unquote infinite storage space, am I right? So yeah, I hate to have gone and rained on your parade there, but speaking of, there have been some sneaky changes to Acid Rain itself, starting with our newfound ability to turn it off completely if we wish. That said, managing it has become easier than ever, so we might not have to. Acid Rain will be incapable of falling in both the Lunar Grotto and the Ancient Archive from here on out, and we also have a new counter for it that isn't post-endgame, the Slimy Salve. The craft is not too hard to bring together, and once you do use it, you not only prevent the effects of Acid Rain for half a day, it will also heal you and even neutralize slurtles for its duration, meaning they won't actually target your inventories for item materials and such. To continue, Acid Rain itself will help poison mush trees over time to spoil the shrooms that they drop from them. Clockworks now deal less damage per hit when Acid Rain is active, and finally, we've even got fresh waves of niter bats in the caves once we've actually gathered around 10 niter, complete with a warning and everything everything. Heck, I don't even think we actually have to mine it from any of the ponds either. As long as the rain is active and we bring enough niter into the caves, a wave of bats is gonna attack us eventually, so be mindful. But the last bulk of focus tweaks, you ask? Skill trees, starting with Wormwood's Lunar Guardian perk that now adds 5 planar defense to all bramble armor, but also a sneaky 5 planar attack to all reflections as well. Their Salamanders will now jump to 900 health overall if both are summoned. Every new light bug increases the light radius they all throw out to some rather ridiculous levels. Photosynthesis now restores 1 health every 10 seconds over the original 20. The flower power skill no longer gives us bloom longer and instead makes fertilizers more effective in blooming Wormwood. Willow's Shadowfire now deals 50% more damage and targets single hostiles far more efficiently. Bernie can now be made to regenerate 2 health every 1 second with his buffed patch up skills, and Lunar Flame can be used / aimed while moving now. And lastly, Wickfrid's Fighting Words perk reduces Battle Stinger cooldowns to a mere 10 seconds overall, while Startling Soliloquy itself now panics mobs for 6 seconds instead of 4. So enjoy. As now it's time to wrap up this video with a rapid fire list of completely miscellaneous changes. Broken Shells now stacked to 40, with Shell Bells having a 30% chance to drop 2 of them moving forward. Pearl's Bundle of Thanks drop 8 Shell Bells now. She sells 3 fish food for 1 bottle after today. Her Sawhorse can turn 20 logs into 5 boards instantly. Cookie Cutters have a 25% chance to drop 2 shells now. Rockjaws drop barnacles, flint, and rocks. Sea Shells deal a respectable 59.5 damage in this update. Any Celestial tab offers the Lunar Fun Cap now that grants immunity to lunar spores while also rapidly producing its own, especially when we get hit. Moonshrooms also make a new crockpot dish that renders anything that eats it asleep for 20 seconds. The post-endgame Embalming Spritz locks all plant resources in their current state forever, and they will never burn or be attacked by bright shades from here on out, but they also can't be harvested, mind. We can now slip on Pango colonies or frozen ponds. Rot washes away in the rain after a few seconds, so be aware of that. Lunar Hail can be disabled entirely. The Celestial Orb has an increased chance to drop if we're friendlier with Pearl or have completed a couple Celestial Altars. Scrap is required for the Celestial Champion fight now. Rifts are visible no matter what. Miasma spreads faster for wider areas at the start of rifts, it seems. We have got Dead Lovers in the Caves as a new set piece. Fossils are guaranteed to form the proper skeletons if we have all the required materials nearby in the Ancient Gateway. We can hammer Dragonfly's collection of skeletons. No more misclicks with fire staffs. And lastly, we can even open containers from within our inventories without having to put them on the ground. So make notes. As there you have, everyone. Technically the first major update for Don't Starve Together in 2024, and a rather beefy one at that. There will be more details to come in more specific videos, as I imagine a lot got drowned out in this one, but keep an eye out. Thanks for watching, folks. Well wishes to all, get that scrap, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.